You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
But we have an old favorite. I hope you don't take offense of me calling him old, but the brother's been doing great work and has a great film that's coming up. This film called Amanda. Amanda, a young painter who lost her mother to cancer when she was only 9 years old, has carried this trauma her entire life. As she prepares to submit her art collection for curation in the local gallery, Amanda also finds a hint of love in a guy, Pharrell, a regular in her favorite coffee shop. Finally experiencing joy and placing her past in the past, she's suddenly forced to deal with the trauma she has carried for a lifetime. This film is about love, art, relationships, trauma, and more. The art of life. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome our brother, our friend, Mr. Ty Cooper, back to the show with us.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I appreciate you. I really appreciate the love that you guys always give me, and made this thing possible, man, for me to have a platform locally here, and I really appreciate it.
Man, we appreciate you, man, and it does my heart good, like to see the work continuing being done, like for your grind to pay off, man, and like for a screenplay of this magnitude to take shape is great to see, like for your brand, man. But you're not alone today. How about you introduce the cast members you brought with you?
Oh yeah, I have some really important cast members here, man. I have Richard Cooper. He's a local guy here who's been acting for a long time. He got his chops up. He's been in various independent movies as well as major, and he just did a lot. He's very accomplished, and I'm very happy that Richard had taken on the role of Lloyd. And also I have my lead actor. Yeah, let's give it up for him. I have my lead actor here too, Paige Atkins, who we're gonna go through it within this interview, but I was floored to get her. She saw a post that I put on Facebook one day about the possibility of casting locally or casting, when I cast a little like teaser net, and then when I actually did my casting call, she responded again. That was probably maybe 2 months later, and I was just happy, man. And so she's playing the role of Amanda.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, man.
As well. Yeah. So so Ty, like we've been hearing a little bit, about the film, and of course, you guys can feel free to chime in, when you feel so. But give us the background, the scoop, sort of the inspiration behind Amanda. What brought it to fruition?
Well, Amanda is a complicated person, and what I mean by complicated, she's a person who is just like either one of us. You see us every day. Your next door neighbor, the employee that works beside you, and next to your cubicle or next to your office or what have you, your schoolmate, and when I say she's complicated, what I'm saying is that each one of us are complicated. We all of us have issues that we're dealing with. We have family trauma. We have just different things that really impact our life, and it build who we are. And Amanda's the same exact way. So basically, Amanda is very relatable, and I wanted to tell a complex story, but I wanted to tell it in the most simplest way, just so people can understand that opening yourself up for friendships, for love, is something that we were built for, and we were placed here to do that. And that's why we live in communities. We don't live alone. We live in communities, and Amanda has a community, but I'm not 100% sure she really truly see it.
Yeah, so I got to ask you, like, was there a particular community that you lived in, or that you dwelled in, where you felt like that this character attached to, or gave you inspiration for this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Amanda, and I want Paige to speak to Amanda as well, because although I wrote the story, I created it. Paige had to live it. She had to actually take on the embodiment of who Amanda is. So I want her to speak more to it. But as far as me creating and it resonating with a certain community or what have you, definitely, it definitely did. My mother, my dad, they went through some health issues that Amanda's mom went through, and Paige will speak to that as well. But so it's things that really resonated with me. So when I wanted to tell the story, like I said, I want to tell a story that's really relatable. It really came from my family. I had people who we lost to cancer, and my mother and father just fought and beat cancer.
Nice.
So it's the film is dedicated to them.
Yeah, nice. Man, well, glad to hear they overcame that. For sure, don't want to overlook that. But Paige, like tell us about you drawing for inspiration, from this screenplay with such depth.
Definitely. I feel like this character and the trauma she carries, dealing with cancer from a young upbringing, cancer is something that has touched so many households, all across this country, and it's very heavy topic. And I think for Amanda, it was interesting diving into that, because though I've never dealt with cancer personally in my life with any family members or me myself, it was neat diving into that and seeing how one handles something that traumatic from a young age, and even down to how her father handles it, because at the end of the day it was just the two of them. It was really inspiring seeing Ty pull from something so personal, because that's a big thing to do, and he definitely incorporated that in the story in a beautiful way. And through Amanda's story, you can just see the weight it carries and the love there is for all the characters.
Yeah. Now, was there anything about the screenplay that made you question it, or when you saw it, you was like, I got to be a part of this, or did it feel challenging at all?
Yeah, it was. What drew me in initially was just the story. It's so genuine and raw, and something that I feel like so many people can relate to when watching. So many different people can relate to her being a daughter, her, finding love, her, being a painter, being an artist, one who carries trauma. It's there's so many ways an audience member can connect. But what drew me in was just how real this story felt and how real Amanda felt. And challenging-wise, it's not to give anything away. It's a heavy script. It's good. It draws you in the best way. And so it was neat diving into new depths with acting-wise. Challenging, but in the best way.
Right. And Richard.
Yes,
Richard,
sir.
Tell us about your character and how you fit in all this. Because Ty and Paige set it up quite well. As far as the lead of the film. But then how does your character fall into play in all this?
Well, my character covers the emotional spectrum, really, and a lot of people don't really understand what he's been through on the private side, and he certainly doesn't let on to the audience what he's been through. But with respect to Paige, or Amanda, he really is protective of her. He sees something in her that reminds him of something deep in his own life, and he doesn't want to see any harm come to her. And at the same time, he's so grateful to have something to wake up to and get to that is represented by the coffee shop where he spends a lot of time hustling and just being kind to people and interacting with people on a daily basis, so he can kind of feed off their energy and feel part of a community. And I'm just, aware that that's how I am. I can be very introverted, and unless I have an opportunity to come out like right now and be on this radio show and be with beautiful people, I don't feel as alive. So his character is really easy to dip into from the standpoint of my own personal simpatico, and Paige as Amanda, Anyway, he's the gatekeeper kind of in his own mind to this coffee shop where Ty strategically placed him. And so everyone has to come through him to get in there, and he's trying to, charm and maybe get a little $1 or $2 as people pass him by, and he may have a good word for them.
Yeah.
And so it's in that vein that I see Lloyd. And he did a favor for a friend when he was an attorney and got in some trouble. And so, from a professional standpoint, he's at a low point and trying to kind of dig himself out of the trouble he got into. And And so that's really his character in a nutshell. And then he sees Amanda in courtship with a guy who's trying to really woo her, and he has some words for him too. So that's a synopsis there.
Got you. And family, we are joined. If you're just joining us, tell a friend.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Richard, director and cast of the new film Amanda, and so like a lot of what you guys are saying is very relevant to today, like with the stresses of life today. Like after 2020, like I know approaching 2020, everybody always thought 2020 Space Odyssey, it was going to be something so spectacular, but the universe saw otherwise. Like, so how do you feel like that this film fits right now into society? You know what I mean? As far as the pull, like the attraction to it right now.
Well, I would say this. It's funny that's a good question. I'll say this about it. One, we filmed in February in Richmond during COVID. Mm-hmm. So I had to create a COVID protocol, which was nerve-wracking because it was so late in the game where people had to get tested that if people got tested and failed or was positive, I don't know what would have happened. I wouldn't have been able to film. Right. So that was going to be crazy. So when I think about that and I think about the storyline and what I tried to portray in Amanda, the whole thing is about community. Mm-hmm. And the one thing about what we went through in 2020 and still going through relatively is the fact that we only survive as a community. You really had people like United Way, for instance. You had United Way really stepping up to the plate and supporting families, giving them money to pay bills and rent assistance. Then you had other people just chipping in the way they can, other organizations helping out with food and helping with the restaurant businesses and stuff like that. And I know Razor could speak to that part of it as well. When it comes down to the restaurants and how organizations and people really helped and came to support. So we all supported one another, and that's how we was able to go through COVID. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so in Amanda is all about community, and each person kind of leans on one another. Mm-hmm. Lloyd has his issues. Amanda has her issues. Charlie, which we didn't talk about, who owns a coffee shop, that business is about to go out of business. You know what I'm saying? So really, his loyal customers are the only people who are kind of like helping him keep on, helping him stay on. So so it's really relevant to what we are going through, as a community, leaning on one another to keep each other alive and surviving.
That's right, man. Very, very well said, man. So, if
I can certainly add to
chime
that.
In,
I can add to that in terms of the mental health challenges of my teenagers. I know I had to be vigilant, and one of them, I understand deeply the challenges of these times, mentally speaking. So I'll defer to Paige on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we all can agree that this past year was difficult for many, if not most people. And I think with Amanda, I found it was she has this community, this support system that loves her dearly. And though there's times she doesn't, realize it fully, the impact she's had on these people, I think it would, going forward, it would be nice for these people to see this love and witness this love, even through these tough times, and even through Amanda's struggles and through every other character's struggles. Seeing them come together and love one another, I think that would be a nice moment for all, to be able to witness that and bring happiness in what has been these dark times this past year.
All right, we're gonna change gears here for a second. Y'all actors, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are actors. Let's get into the fact of during the hardship of what the world was going through, y'all found it in this young prince right here, the ability to be able to have an outlet, where you could actually take your emotion and fears and everything that he wrote and put him onto the silver screen. Ty, what was it like to be able to emerge, in my words, almost like a phoenix, Everything else. No. Let's call it what it is. What was it like to be able? Because let's not act like Charles Ty Cooper is not a proud man here. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love you. So I want you to be able to talk to the person, the younger version of you and me. That's like, I need to find something to do so I can create, so I can leave my legacy. Because once it goes on that silver screen, it's forever immortalized. What was it like to say, I am not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to build something. God is going to bring the right people, Paige in front of me, the other young gentleman right beside you, to help bring this to fruition. Talk to that.
My young self.
That's right. The young Ty Cooper, standing in Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, I know. no, Harlem.
I know.
All right, So speaking to that, so let's speak to that. Look, I some people don't like when I talk like this, man, but I am super proud, and I'm super proud of where I'm from, Harlem. Where I was born, raised, the people around me. That concrete jungle made me, and so I come from a place of grind, man. I come from a place of taking your own destiny in your own hands, and when you do that, you don't feel as though anything could really stop you. You know what I'm saying? You don't see obstacles, man. You don't see obstacles. You see obstacles. If you see an obstacle, you see it as an opportunity. And so for me, COVID was an opportunity, man. Like, COVID allowed me, to be honest with you, COVID had its hardships, but it did allow me to create Amanda. It allowed me to sit down for a second. So when I'm putting finances in different places, last March, I got back into investing. So I was able, because I was like, this COVID thing is going to slow me down. It's going to slow the money down. So let me put this money in investments to make money. Right? Because I'm not going to make it another way, right? So I had to stop all my events and promotions. So when I did that, I was like, all right, well, it's time for me to continue writing Amanda, and let's go ahead and focus on Amanda during this time. And so for me, I look at my young self and I'm like, if when you see bumps and bruises, you see things in front of you, just look at it as an opportunity to pivot. Look at it as an opportunity to take advantage of that opportunity that is provided. That opportunity, in my opinion, it slowed everyone else down around me too, right? It slowed down my competition. It slowed down everyone, right? Mm-hmm. So while the competition is trying to go for PPP money and all that, I'm trying to create. Like, I'm not trying to sit there and, focus on that PPP stuff and all that. Let me create, because when this thing opens back up, I'm not going to have time to create the way I want to create. So let me go ahead and put this together, take advantage of the opportunity. So that's what I did. And I would say the same thing to my young self is, just make sure, you know where you come from. You know where you come from. You've seen your uncles work. You see your dad work. You see your aunts work. You see your cousins grind. And you see your community grind. So just go ahead and do the same thing. You know that this is nothing for you. You're from Harlem. That this is you've been through. You've seen poverty.
Talk that talk, Ty.
Oh, you hear Queens in the background. That's Queens right there.
Queens. That's Queens. Queens always had the beautiful women. So we always went to Queens. Yeah, we always went to Queens. So, but that's what I would really truly tell myself, man. And I would tell anyone that. And even for now, right? We're gonna go a little bit off topic. This is a buyer's market, right? If you're trying to buy a house, this is definitely, a seller's market. Excuse me. This is a big time seller's market, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to cry about it. You're going to give them all your money, or you're going to look at for opportunities that when this seller's market is no longer a seller's market, are you going to be in a position to jump on those opportunities that's going to be there waiting for you? Everything's an opportunity. Just it depends on your perspective.
Thank you for that, my man.
Hey, Charles.
Great question, Razor. What's up, Aaron, man? We gotta get ready to go to a break. What's up?
Oh, I had a question. You want me to wait to the break, or what you want me to do?
Oh no, go ahead, because we're gonna have to close out soon. But what you got?
Cool. Well, first of all, thanks to Ty for repping that NYC, because I get a hard time from these dudes.
Oh, you do?
All the time, man. They be killing me. But actually, my question was in reference to the production and just the process of creating, and this is for all three of you guys. From the beginning to the end, things always change on how you even viewed the project or what your expectations were. what did you guys each individually learn that was totally different from what you thought the project was going to be?
Man, bro, how much time do we have?
We're wrapping up, so you can go ahead and summarize it however you feel.
I want Paige to speak too, but man, that's a long, bro. I wrote it, I directed it, and I produced it. So for me, it was about the money, right? So for me, it was like, all right, when I first wrote, I was like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this for about maybe 10, 15 grand. Well, COVID, didn't allow that. So I put everyone in the hotel, and most independent films don't put people in hotels and stuff like that. Like, they just don't. But I put every single person that worked on that project in hotels for 3 days, some for 6 days.
Talk your talk.
And my hotel bill was $4,000. I didn't budget that. I didn't budget that. I didn't budget no $4,000. I didn't budget money for a lot of different things that I ended up paying for. So from that initial project of costing me 10 grand or 15 tops, it cost me 30. And it's still counting because I gotta get a colorist right now to color it and stuff like that. And it's I just got the first draft from the editor. So you plan, man. You plan. Planning is responsible. You gotta plan. But you plan, but you have to be open to anything changing because life changes, and that's what Amanda is really about. Amanda is about real life, and things within Amanda change for the characters. Like as Paige can speak to this. I changed the script for several scenes, driving Paige and David crazy. But I had to change it because the elements that happened on set forced me to make some changes, on set changes that she didn't see it coming. I sent her the script. I slid the script under her door.
6 a.m. get a call.
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Hey,
in
I
the
made
morning.
some changes.
You gotta be ready by
not
8.
again.
You gotta know these changes by 8 o'clock. And it's what it is, man. It's just part of it's part of the business.
Yeah, and real quick, want to get maybe like each of your top.
Yeah, it was. I guess I wasn't 100% sure what to expect because going in because of COVID, it changes the whole, creativity, the process of rehearsing. I didn't actually meet Ty until I got there to film. Though we talked on the phone, Zoom called rehearsals with all the other characters. It was a completely different process, but getting there in person and being in the space, it was so neat to see the relationships blossom and the chemistry and it all come straight out of those Zoom rehearsals. So even though COVID, it changed some things for rehearsing, it still came out, and I think it's going to be amazing.
Awesome. And Rich?
Well, we had snow, sleet, hail, rain, sunshine, cold, warm. We had everything.
I forgot about that.
And so, the shooting days were challenging, and you thought you had this kind of light at this particular time, and suddenly the weather would roll in. And so different things had to be reorganized on the fly, and Ty did that well. And at the same time, everyone had to make those adjustments. So for me, I would say those were the biggest variations, and therefore that required some script adjustment, et cetera, and Ty can speak to that. But that's what I remember being the most paramount. Just wow, the weather. So that was really big.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it was great experience.
How about we can't forget about the power? No, two things.
How about that?
The power went out at one time in the space that we were filming. But also another thing is the company truck. We had I used a gaffer and grip company, right? So you had the big white truck outside. Well, we set up the tracks because we had it on the dolly. We had a scene on the dolly. Set up the tracks. Well, they set up the tracks, and when we were about to shoot, they noticed that the company truck was in the in the shot, and that's a faux pas from in Hollywood. You don't have the company truck, people will laugh at you. They go to move it, the truck wouldn't start. So we had to move the tracks and do a different angle, but that took about 2 hours.
Wow.
And 2 hours of precious time, so I ended up having to cut.
And money too, right?
Yeah, because they're all union guys.
Yeah.
They were union. They were accustomed to a certain time, and they wouldn't go over that.
Yeah.
And so you had to make adjustments, man. So I had to actually, because of that 2 hour delay, I had to cut a scene. So
Wow.
so it's tough, bro. It's tough, man. And when you're a writer too, when you wrote the babies and you got to kill them, it just kind of it's hard.
Yeah.
So you know, what I mean, it's just what it is, and but I do hope people go and see Amanda when it come out. I'm gonna do some private screenings here, private, public, meaning that it's private because I need to keep my premiere status for the film festivals. If it gets into festivals, some festivals want a feature film to not have been screened publicly. So but I'm gonna do some screenings where it's private, public, meaning that anyone could come. But I'm gonna call it private. I'm gonna market it as private. It just costs money, and I'm gonna obviously advertise that on on this station and stuff like that. So
I feel you.
I look forward to it.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
And in closing, who are some of the other contributors you want to shout out, and definitely let us know next steps of like what sites do we go to check for it? When is the release?
Yeah. So so Amanda.com, AmandaTheFilm.com is always the place that you'll go to. Getting like news, or when I have a screening, it's going to be up there, AmandaTheFilm.com. But I need to shout out, man, it's so many people, man, and I hate to miss anyone, but Marty Moore, Beatrice Ost, Ludwig Kutner, Keith Woodard, Suzanne Evans, Declan Murphy, so many. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The entire cast, we had the Hilton Richmond downtown, the X Art Park, and so forth. Shannon Harrington out in Stanton. I mean, and all the entire cast, cast and crew. My cast were phenomenal. And the crew. I'm gonna tell you something. This is the first time I ever had someone hold the umbrella over my head while it was snowing on top of me. Like, what I'm saying?
Time.
My PA, man, my PAs were amazing, man. Like when I said, like I said, no one ever held the umbrella over my head, man. Snow fell on my head, man, many a days, and except for that day. And my guy Martin, he really held it down. So all the PAs, the wardrobe coordinator, everyone who was part of it, just was really instrumental to making my dream come true, and I really look forward to it. Like my DP was amazing. Anthony DeRose, he jumped into it, man. He read the script, jumped right into it. My guy LeRon, he was the DP on Madam Secretary for about 7 years or something like that, and also in For Life, the first season For Life, and he introduced me to Anthony, and then Anthony DeRose, who was my DP, he actually hired other people for me, my AC, my Steadicam op, Justin, we call him Jay-Z, Jiggerman. It was amazing. Dana Verde, Dev, she was my assistant director, and all of them out of New York. All four of them was out of New York. So I had people from Virginia, New York, DC, all part of this. It wasn't just a Virginia thing. I shot it in Richmond, but we got a lot of support, man, from the Virginia Film Office as well in Richmond. So yeah, I mean the list continues beyond that.
For sure.
When you put me on the spot like that, man, never ask someone to give a shout out to the people, man, because you're gonna
always miss something.
Somebody gonna get upset, very upset.
No, but I think you did a good job, my man. And of course, Richard Page. Always, thank you all for joining us as well. Looking forward to seeing the film. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Ty Page and Richard of the film Amanda, upcoming, and you can continue to find updates at AmandaTheFilm.com.
Yes.
All right, AmandaTheFilm.com.
Let me say one more shout out too.
Yeah, yes, sir.
To you guys too, man. To my humble opinion, I'm gonna tell you, this is probably for Amanda. This may be my second or third interview. I think I mentioned it. It probably wasn't for Amanda, but I was talking about Amanda doing a different interview. But you guys, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I know I say thank you to you, Razor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I hate to say Miss Razor, because then that's like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, okay, look, Miss Razor, she's online, right?
Nah, Miss Razor, I'm the man in that house right there. Tell it all. Now I'm just playing Maxilia Robinson.
Yeah, Max. But Miss Razor, aka Max. But you guys really support people here, man, and we try. I do a lot of different things to give people a platform, and so sometimes, I just do it because I just want to do it. And y'all doing the same thing. So sometimes you guys may not expect someone to say thank you or even understand the impact that you guys provide. But you guys provide a major impact in this community, in this Black community, and outside the Black community. And on a Sunday morning at this time, the Sunday afternoon, where would I be talking on? Which radio station? Who would have me on right now? besides you. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
Like,
that, yeah.
so it's really important. Like, I'm not just saying thank you just to say thank you. I'm telling you thank you because y'all guys breathe life into many of the different projects that us as creatives do. You know, and
Thank you.
Paige came down here from Burke, Virginia, from Northern Virginia. And she came down here just for this interview. And I told her how important this is. Like, I said, no, this is not definitely a phone call. This is like an in-person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how important this is. We're gonna do radio phone calls from other people, but not for this show. This show, I want everyone in house, and so it's
Appreciate
important
y'all.
to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
Maybe he'll reimburse your gas. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
She's here with Mr. Amanda.
Okay.
So he got the gas money.
All right. Well, Ty, thanks as always, my brother. Until next time, and like we said, y'all, go to the website and follow up. And of course, you know where else to get the info here. IMHO Talk Show, but AmandaTheFilm.com.